Know that it is a good Thursday when you get to see the TGN stream live, ready for action as we get to go racing yet again on a Thursday night. Welcome in to the TGN Pro Series Season 2, round number 1 here at Zwartkops Raceway. We are just about to get into our qualifying session, and man, it has been quite a long time since we've been live with all of you guys. My name is Tristan Herbst, joining you for this season yet again of the TGN Pro Series, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to get started yet again. We've got a couple of new faces coming in for season number 2, a couple of old legends as well that will be taking to the track. Some of them you will know, some of them you might even know from the AM series, who are coming to join us for this season, which is an incredible one to see as well. But we are indeed getting into it with qualifying just being underway, about a minute and a half through, and we've already got drivers on this incredibly short circuit of Zwartkops setting in those lap times. So you'll see a couple of familiar faces. Daniel Kent gets his lap time up there. He's currently got his best time. Derek Truscott's out there, and a couple of new faces. Jordan Huben, he joins in into 6th position currently with no time on the board, but he joins in as a new driver coming down from Cape Town. Riaz Baba, he is also new to the Pro Series, so incredible to see on that front. And a couple of other new drivers, obviously Tamsankwa Konki, he is here in 15th position currently. Joburg, and also brand new to the Pro Series. But man, it is good to see all of you again. I know it's been a while. We've been on a bit of a break between season 1 and season number 2, but we're officially back at it. And just to remind you guys how the structuring of the TGN Pro Series works, we've got our qualifying session now that runs for a total of 10 minutes, giving the drivers ample time to get their qualifying lap times in. We then head over to our 3 heats. We've got 3 heats running for you tonight, like we normally do for the TGN Pro Series. So we've got heat number 1, which is coming in. That's obviously going to be your standard 20-minute first race. Heat number 2, which is quite frankly one of my favorites, is a full reverse grid based on the results of heat number 1. And then we've got heat number 3, which is the chaos heat, where the grid is completely randomized and based on a server choice, and which is always, quite frankly, quite fun to see. Now, a big change, and this is important for all of our viewers. We've obviously we're live on TikTok, we're live on Twitch, we're live on YouTube, and those are our big 3 that we are currently running: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. The 4 big beacons of social media, and you'll find TGN Racing Simulators live on all 4 tonight, which is an incredible thing to see as well. So make sure you choose one of your platforms. Leave all your likes on the TikTok stream. Remember, the more likes we get, the more we can bring in terms of viewership and entertainment for all of our amazing viewers who get to watch us here live on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So 4 major places to watch us live from. So make sure you pick one and stick to it for the evening's events. Now, the big change, just so that I've got everyone's attention, which is going to completely change the dynamics. 2 big changes coming in for Pro Series. Number 1 is going to be the introduction of the real-time penalty system. So in the previous seasons, we ran everything externally, and it happened after the race. So nothing happened internally within the race. Any kind of race appeals or incidents had to be done afterwards by the means of manual submission, which is still a thing in case an incident is quite major and you feel like the driver didn't receive a good enough penalty. But now there is the addition of the real-time penalty system. So drivers will now receive real-time in-game penalties for their actions. For example, speeding into the pit lane will render a driver a drive-through penalty. So lots and lots of consequences coming in on that front in terms of penalties, which is going to make the racing not only cleaner but more consistent as well. So stay tuned to see some of those canon events coming around from our drivers who decide to push just a little bit too hard and find the track limits here at Zwartkops Raceway. And then the second biggest change, which completely changes the dynamic of TGN, the TGN Pro Series. We've heard what the viewers have said, we've heard what the drivers have said. There is now a 80% damage model applied to the servers when the drivers race in race number 1, 2, and 3, meaning that drivers can actually face consequences such as mechanical or bodily damage if they push the car too hard, if they're involved in incidents, if they try downshift too fast. Anything that a real-life car can take damage from is what you'll experience here with the BTCC cars at TGN Pro simulators. So that is going to play a massive element into the TGN Pro Series. There's no longer that whole thing of somebody dive bombing with no consequence, maybe just giving a bit of a shove to the person in front. They will now get front aero damage, possibly front left wheel suspension damage, which is going to change their degree of rotation and completely alter how the car feels on track. There is now real consequences in terms of penalty and damage to our cars, which is going to make the racing, yes, it might end someone's night if they do push the car too hard or have a substantially hard incident, but it is also going to be an incredibly good initiative in order to ensure that we have the highest quality of racing here at the TGN Pro Series. So, without further ado, we can obviously get into our qualifying properly now that we've got all the events underway. Civic here up in front has remained with the Cupra Leon, and stay tuned for that as well, because the Cupra has not been the dominant pick for season number 2. He's up in front. He's got a 101.4 to his name. Kitso Magia has switched over from the Vauxhall, and he comes out in the Corolla XR. He sits second currently with a 101.4 as well, just about 1500ths of a second, splitting himself and Civic here. JP Goslet, he's also got some improvements on the board. The i30N has been picked up from his side. I think he might have been rocking the i30N last season, but it was yellow, so he's gone for a white color palette this season. Michael de Kock, who was in the Toyota, no, he wasn't. Sorry, no, he was also in the Ford, I believe, or he was in the Cupra Leon, but he's now also in the Ford Fiesta ST, which is great to see. Vanny Obert, he's remained in the Corolla XR for this season. Aratile Motsagosele, one of our Mr. Consistencies, and he currently sits down in 6th position with the Honda Civic. So a bit of a switch coming up there for Aratile, switching over to the Honda Civic. We've got another Cupra Leon there. That's going to be Derek Truscott. Kyle Williams a bit further down in the Fiesta ST with Chad Bell. A new addition to the Pro Series. He's been promoted from the AM Series, and he comes up in the Fiesta ST. So no more Toyota 86s for him. He now gets to drive the big guns of the BTCC cars. Jared Leask remains in his Ford. Closest thing he can find to his BMW in real life, I suppose, with the blue on the logo. And then Nico Quintal, also another new driver coming into the Pro Series, and he's down in 11th position as it stands, also in the Ford. Daniel Kent a little bit further down in 12th. He's swapped over from the to the Corolla XR. He's now in the Cupra Leon. Omar Khan, who also drove the Vauxhall, he's moved over to the Ford Fiesta ST. Morgan Goodwin comes back into the Pro Series after going down to the AMs. He's back in the Pros and ready to take the championship by storm. He's also in the Ford Fiesta. Riaz Baba, he's down in 15th currently, also in a pink Fiesta. Jordan Huben, I believe, also in a Fiesta. So a very dominant, no, sorry, that's a Corolla XR, but very dominant picks coming for the Fiesta STs. Ryan Gosling, sorry, not Ryan, Ryan Gosling, that's a compliment to Grigoratos. Ryan Gosling is a very good actor, but here we are with the TGN driver, Ryan Grigoratos, and he currently sits with the 102.3. He's also in the Ford Mustang. No, he's in the, yes, in the Ford Mustang. Tevin Paul, another familiar name, he's down in 18th currently, also swapped over from the i30N and into the Ford Fiesta. He will go. Session Government has moved over to the Toyota Corolla XR. Our new driver, Tamsankwa Konki, he currently sits in that Fiesta ST a little bit further down as well. And then Denisio Bart also out on track in the Corolla. So great to see her back out on track. We did miss her for a couple of the rounds in the Season 1 final couple of rounds, but hopefully we get to see a couple more features from her side. Gio Sakia still sits up in front though with that 101.4. Kitsumajia just following in his wake with that 1500ths of a second difference. So these two at the top have been somewhat uncrowned as it stands. Nobody is able to get up ahead for the time being. So that's going to be a difficult one for them to chase on. We'll have to watch and see if there's going to be any kind of change for those drivers. But about 40 seconds left of our qualifying session, and our drivers all still sitting mix and match. So another big thing is, if you're wondering why there wasn't a stream this past weekend for the TGN Pro Series, TGN Endurance Series, is that it got moved. Now the reason it got moved, which is a super cool thing, is that a couple of the TGN staff members raced in the Red Star Raceway Lemons 9 Hour, which is an incredibly cool initiative. It's a real life endurance race, and they did it in a Datsun. And they took a couple of people with them. Gio Sakia went and raced in the car, and so did Aratile Motsagosela, also raced in the car. So a couple of our Pro Series drivers getting the taste of real life through TGN racing simulators, and that's something that could always be up for grabs for anyone who gets themselves into the TGN network and into the TGN family. It is officially checkered flag, as you can see it on the screen in multiple occasions. I'm not too sure why we have it in so many occasions, and that's something we'll have to just look at, as I believe this is not too sure what box this is down here. We've got it up here as well. So a couple of new boxes coming in with the real-time penalty, and we'll try and find it. I believe it might be a real-time penalty flag that's on over here. Seems like it's not disappearing, so that's okay. We've just got 2 flags, which means it'll be very prominent to potentially see some of the flags out on track and how those change up, which is great to see. But that is officially your qualifying done and dusted. It is Michael de Kock up in P1, actually just taking it away from Gio Sakia. Kitsumajia also getting up ahead of Gio Sakia by just about 0.02 of a second, and then Michael de Kock over 0.2 of a second. So lots and lots of change coming from our drivers, and Michael de Kock making one giant leap to get up into that podium spot and up into P1 as well. But that is your qualifying done and dusted for this round of events. We do have Heat 1 coming up to you in just about 5 minutes time, so it's a little bit of time for you to maybe go grab something to drink, maybe even something to eat if you're fast enough. But the one most important thing is, do not go anywhere long, because we're getting started. Round number 1 is back, baby, for season 2, and we cannot wait to get started.
Reminiscing better days, make those days right now. 'Cause you hit me like a always will be better days, make the better days right now. We will be just fine.
And we are back just before the action gets away. One thing I've just got to mention before we go, apologies about the mispronunciation on the Ford. It is not a Ford Mustang. Please never think that it's a Ford Mustang. It's also not a Ford Fiesta. This is a Ford Focus that is being driven in the grid. Someone in the TikTok live saying, is this in Cornubia? Yes, there is a TGN branch in Cornubia. Unfortunately, I don't have time to expand on that as we are just about to get started. Our drivers just about to get underway here at Zwartkops Raceway. It is Kitso all the way up with Michael de Kock starting off this race, and it is officially lights out and away we will go for the TGN Pro Series start for season number 2. All of our drivers coming down into turn number 1, the bottom left sloper, up into the hairpin section, the first official corner of Zwartkops Raceway, and there's already drivers off down to 20th. It's Ryan Grigoratos, and he's gone off of the track with another driver. Remember that there is damage on these cars. Morgan Goodwin also facing behind, so does Jordan Huben, and that looks like he's potentially struggling a little bit with that car. Remember that there is now damage that can be applied to our vehicles here. The drivers do have to be careful with how they control their cars and watch out for not making any kind of contact. Up in front though, it is Michael de Kock leading from Kitso Magia, and he's been able to keep up ahead, but Kitso with the pressure behind from JP Goslet, the rest of the grid all still bunched up in the mid sector. They're trying to fight their way through. A couple of the drivers, though, have become outliers and will need to try and work their way back up, but it's going to be difficult this early on into this race when all the drivers have already gapped and distanced themselves. They're going to have to try their best, but Jordan Huben at the backside in his Toyota, and I believe you can actually see a little bit of the driving damage that he's experiencing. I wonder if he's planted it in the wall or hit something. We can try and maybe have a look at the steering wheel. If there is a steering wheel there, we do see it. I'm wondering if we have some suspension damage, and it does not look like it, at least. So no suspension damage on his car for the time being, so that he can be glad for, as taken from someone who's planted many walls into many cars into many walls in a sim racing environment. And trust me, that driving with a damaged car is not something you want to be doing, especially in such a stacked and competitive grid that we get here at the TGN Pro Series, heading into season number 2, which is yet again amazing to see season number 2 making such a fantastic return with so many great drivers making their features yet again. Kitso Magia has gotten up ahead of JP Goslet. He's in the white Toyota Corolla and making his way just up ahead. Incredible drive from him to move up into second place. Unfortunately, Gio Sakia has been given the boot, and down to 4th he will move. He's got to work his hardest to try and get up ahead of JP Goslet. Derek Truscott just behind as well. He's going to try and see if he can plant it up towards Gio Sakia, but that might be difficult for him. Oratile Motsogosele a little bit further down. He currently sits 6th position with Kyle Williams, another driver who faced a couple of consequences last season with his contacts. Now he's got to play the careful game with the damage being applied. He has gone opposite though. He's gone from purple to yellow. So complete opposite of the 5-star chocolate bar, and he continues to move on for this season 2 of the TGN Pro Series. Further down, Daniel Kent also in 10th. Very weird to see him in a blue Cupra Leon. I'm so used to seeing him in a yellow Toyota Corolla. So complete switch up from our drivers here. And we've got to retrain our brain to look for our favorite drivers in their different car picks. A couple of smoke coming from the tires. The drivers are just trying to stretch out a little bit too wide, and unfortunately it's not working out too well for them. And we'll have to just watch and see how these cars are going to handle it. Remember that it is new penalty system, new damage system. The drivers are also experimenting a little bit here with this being the first race of the season, which means that this is brand new to all people. No one's gotten an unfair advantage with the new systems. They have to just use it as it comes. And so we'll hope to see if there is visual damage. Hopefully we can see it from our perspective, and it's not just from the driver's perspective. Not that I'm saying I hope that someone's going to crash, but it will be good to see some kind of visual damage if that is the case. So with the drivers who planted it a little bit earlier on in the race, it doesn't look like they sustained any physical damage, as I believe they all kind of just had very minor taps and kind of over-rotated the cars. Remember also that these are BTCC cars, British Touring Championship cars, and they are built to survive, and they're built to have a little bit of elbow-to-elbow battles, so it's not going to be like a Formula 1 car that falls apart in thousands of pieces as soon as it makes a minimal amount of contact with even a pebble on the circuit. Oh, and that's a huge lockup. That comes from Gio Sakia, completely locking up the car, going almost sideways, a full crab walk over the corner, and almost lands himself in the wall. That would have been major damage on the left-hand side of his car, but thankfully combined the gravel trap with his brakes. He was able to slow that car down just in time to keep the Cupra pointed straight and continue moving on. Kitso Magia, JP Goslet, both of them setting the fastest lap times of this race, split by each other by just a very minimal amount. It's about 5/10 though to the likes of Michael de Kock. So the top three all definitely within fighting distance, as Derek Truscott also right on the backside of JP Gosdet. Oratile Motsagosele has also got a new spring of hope with him in that Honda Civic, and hopefully looking for a little bit more of a top challenging spot in the Pro Series. He's been Mr. Consistency now for the past 2 seasons for being a very consistent driver, but spending a little bit too much time in that mid-pack. So hopefully Oratile Motsagosele can get himself a little bit further up here and potentially fighting into the top 5 like he's doing right now. So let's hope he can keep that momentum going. The rest of the drivers, though, still working their way through the circuit. Daniel Kent a bit further down 7th with Omar Khan down 8th position. He currently leads a long train of cars. It's the Cape Town branch manager versus the TGN owner. Omar Khan versus Vanio Bert, as he's trying to work his way around Omar, currently sitting in 8th position. You'll know that behind the guy with the flashing lights, always has his headlights on bright, even carrying on from the previous season, is Jared Leask. And yet again, he will do it to prove his uniqueness out on circuit. He chases down on Vanio Bert with Chad Bell, our driver, coming in from the TGN Pro Series, and he obviously moves up into Pro now to chase down on the rest of the drivers. Gio Sakir, after that spin, moves him down to 12th position, and he's just trying to work his way back up in the limited amount of time that we've got. 14 minutes is not a lot of time to play with here, and Gio Sakir is going to have to use the track to his major advantage here to work throughout the grid. Tevin Ball still further down in 16th position, 17th for Session Governor, 18th for Morgan Goodwin, 19th for Grigoratos, and then Dini Shabbat, unfortunately, looks like she's sustained something, or she's come into the pit lane all the way down in 21st, and still actually behind the likes of Jordan Huben, who sustained that little bit of contact at the beginning of this race. Back up to the top, though, the race leaders are indeed getting closer and closer. Kitso Magia is trying to breach closer to Michael de Kock, but you can see that Foster's lap is actually from the likes of JP Goslet, and last lap for 102.4 for Michael de Kock, 102.2 for Kitso Magia, and a 102.2 for JP Goslet. So the two behind Michael de Kock are indeed catching, and Kitso Magia and JP Goslet, one mission in mind is to overthrow the top throne position here in the podium spots. Derek Truscott will also look to do the same, 102.7 as his last lap time. Oratile Motsagotsele is faster and could potentially try and challenge for 4th here in the next couple of minutes. 13 minutes left. 7 minutes has gone by. We do have a couple of drivers into the pit lane. It is Jared Leask who comes in for an early pit stop. Nico Quintal also into the pit stop. So a couple of drivers really going for that undercut strategy and coming out and into the pit lane at a very, very early stage of this race. Jared Leask now the final driver out on grid. I believe it is actually Nico Quintal. It just hasn't really updated in the menu. You can see he is indeed behind Jared Leask on track. And so he's going to have to work quite hard. Hopefully that his undercut strategy is going to be the superior choice here at Zwartkops. Very tiny circuit, just about over a minute in terms of lap time, and not the most complex circuit either. Lots and lots of right-hand corners at Zwartkops. It's basically just right-handers. Actually, I believe it is, if we're looking at the track map, it's a right-hand corner. No, I think it's one left-hander heading into the right-hand hairpin, right all the way around, right, and then a left-hander heading back onto the straight. So 2 left corners, the rest are right-handers. So it means the left-hand side of the card is going to light up a little bit faster than the right-hand side as all the weight gets distributed to the left as the car begins to bank into the right-hand side corners. And as you can see, all the drivers still trying to work their way through. We are going to see a possible fight coming ever so shortly, because Kitso Magia is planting himself closer and closer onto the backside here of Michael de Kock, which could get very, very interesting between these two drivers. JP Goslet and Derek Truscott also still behind. Oratile down 5th with Carl Williams putting pressure in 6th position. He's got Daniel Kent right now putting pressure on the backside of him. And so these two, the Cape Townians, will be fighting it out for that 5th position spot. Kitso Magia comes in for his pit stop, so a lot earlier than the rest of the grid. But remember that there is no mandatory pit window. There is a mandatory pit stop, but there's no mandatory time you need to come in to get that pit stop served. You can do it at any time as long as you ensure that you make it to the end of the race. Otherwise, you'll be marked as a DNF finish. So a couple of our drivers, Ryan Grigorato, Session Governor, Kitso Magia, those 3 have come in, and Kitso a little bit further down now in 14th he goes. After the drop-off from being so far behind Tamsangwa Konki, he moves up into 11th currently. And just behind him is indeed Tevin Paul. So, one season experienced driver coming up against a brand new driver of Conky onto the inside line. He will go. And this could be an incredible move there coming from Tevin Paul. Indeed, it is right onto the inside line. He saw the space opening and almost tried to go for a good switchback there. But Tevin Paul, what a great move to move himself into 11th position. He is going to be super chuffed about that. Derek Truscott comes into the pit lane now. And so does Michael de Kock, Derek Truscott, Oratile, Motsagosele. They all join in. Carl Williams is going to stay out though, and he stays ahead. So does JP Goslet, currently furthest out on the track for staying out. Carl Williams also staying out. Daniel Kent staying out. Omar Khan stays out, and so does Chad Bell. Riaz Baba also just taking a little bit too much outside line onto the first corner, and the grass is where he will see, unfortunately, having to watch out there with the rejoin, but thankfully nobody around him to contest for a dangerous rejoin. A couple of our drivers coming out now. Derek Truscott comes out in 10th. Michael de Kock, the provisional race leader, comes out in 9th position. He has been undercut by Kitsumajia, so the undercut strategy from Kitsumajia has been the superior choice here, getting stuck in a little bit less traffic, and it's worked out for him because Michael de Kock now 9/10 behind Kitsumajia, which means he's got a straight shot at the top spot here for the first race. The first heat only has 10 minutes left to go, and Kitsumajia has just confirmed himself into the provisional P1 slot. He's going to be very, very chuffed about that one. He's just got to hold on to it now. JP Goslet and Carl Williams both come into the pit lane. Daniel Kent stays out yet again for another full lap, so very rarely going for the overcut strategy here. Daniel Kent seems to be finding comfort in that Cupra Leon, and let's hope that it's not going to throw him under the bus coming towards the end of it. Chad Bell currently sits in 2nd position and also staying out. The only two drivers currently who have stayed out, JP Goslet's come in, Omar Khan has also come in, Carl Williams again coming in, I believe. Oh no, he stayed out last lap, so he comes out, comes into the pit lane. There's Kitsumajia, he sits in 3rd, and obviously that is provisional pole position because Chad Bell and Daniel Kent are still yet to put their cars into the pit lane, and still quite a bit of time that you will lose in a pit lane that we will probably see on your track info on the right hand side will come up eventually to show you how much time roughly our drivers are losing in the pit lane. And so that amount of time, you minimize that from the amount of time from the chasing car behind you, and that's how much you will know that you will be losing. Daniel Kent is indeed going to jump into the pit lane now, feeling that it's time for the car to come in, and so does Chad Bell, meaning that they will both lose 1st and 2nd of this race, and in any case they were going to, just based on the fact that they were not in those positions to start with. They had to come in to serve their mandatory pit stop. So Kitsumajia will come across the checkered flag line now into P1. He will take over from Kent and Bell. Michael de Kock will now have to face the consequence of not picking the right strategy and possibly being a little bit slow in the pit lane, and now he sits down 2nd position, which is unfortunate for him, but he's got the chase game on. Derek Truscott has also moved up into 3rd position. JP Goslet has been undercut by Derek Truscott, so good maneuvers there. Unfortunately, Gio Sakia, who started on the podium rack, has been pushed all the way down to 7th. He does have the fastest lap of the race though, with a 1:01.5, so definitely finding some speed there in that Cupra Leon. The question is how long he's going to be able to hold it before he needs to move on. So let's hope for Giasakia's sake that he can continue pushing this. Kitsumajia a little bit further behind. He still sits up in P1, 1:01.6. Last lap, Michael de Kock 1:01.7. Sorry, that's best lap currently set by the drivers. And with 7 minutes left, they need to continue to set these best lap times in order to keep their advantage as the race leaders. So let's hope that that advantage will be kept up for Kitsumajia, as he's currently sits way out in front with Michael de Kock chasing. 1.5 seconds already generated, by the way, by Kitsumajia up in the P1 spots. So great work from him. And so, yeah, everybody joining us in the TikTok live, welcome into the TGN Pro Series. So good to have you here. There's, I believe, also an audience that we've got in the YouTube channel, the YouTube side of things for the TGN YouTube stream for today's racing event. So make sure you also pop a hello message in there, and we will make sure to greet you back for the events of today. Lots and lots going on for the TGN Pro Series, and great stuff going on. A couple of people though having a bit of a chat though in our YouTube stand. Dolan Goslet saying Lucky Yarps, and then we got Heidi from Mullen getting their Goslet and de Kock, proud of my boys. So lots of support coming in from the YouTube chat. I love to Daniel K from Hot and Sweaty England. So Oliver Kent giving some love to Daniel Kent, and Mr. Mark saying let's go, and then Peter De Brain saying let's go Team KZN. And so a little bit of support there as we do officially have our first driver from KZN. I believe it is Nico Quintal, and he currently sits down in 12th position. And so he is, I believe, no, that's Western Province, apologies, he's from WP. We should find the driver. They'll have a ZN on the backside of their plate, so we just need to find which driver it is. It'll be one of our new drivers. I know it's not Tamsankwa because he's sitting just below us, so it might be Riaz Baba. We'll have to look on that plate if it does say ZN on it, and try and maybe get a bit of a closer camera here. We'll see it now on the downslope. If it is Riaz Baba who sits with the ZN plate, I mean, it's not giving us a very easy opportunity. That's saying ND, so I'm not too sure. That could possibly be because the rest of the drivers, as you can see, I've got GP, GP, GP. Tevin Paul's a GP, Nico Quintal's Western Province, Riaz Baba the only driver with ND. So possibly our driver from Durban, but I believe our YouTube chat can also confirm that from us. Justin van Wyk saying, let's go Cape Town. So lots of love. I'll do the Joburg one. Let's go Joburg, because I'm sitting in the Joburg branch right now, live with all of you at season number 2, round number 1 of the TGN Pro Series. We head back to it though, with Kitso Majia setting 1.7 seconds currently ahead of Michael de Kock. Derek Truscott still sitting a little bit further. Unfortunately, a big gap has been generated behind the likes of Gio Sakia. It's over 10 seconds as it currently stands, and Chad Bell leads that battle for 9th. He's got Vanny Obert on the backside, who he's got to hold off, and so does Omar Khan. He's got Nico Quintal putting pressure, potential on the outside line here. It might be a bit of a switchback, but Omar Khan seems to manage it well, and that's actually Nico Quintal, I believe. And Omar Khan chasing on the backside of Vanny Obert, apologies. So Nico Quintal has got some Sankwa Konki just on the backside of him. He's putting a lot of pressure coming towards the end of this race. Only 4 minutes left to go for heat number 1. And so you better keep your eyes peeled, because things are going to start to get quite interesting here in the last 4 minutes. This is where we see the zone of desperation, which is what we call it in sim racing. It's the final few minutes where drivers start to become a little bit desperate. I am seeing Session Governor is outside of his car. So what has happened to Session Governor? He's currently, I believe, experiencing a bit of an issue as he's having a chat to one of the TGN staff members. So not happy about something on his rig, or possibly with his car, and currently parked it up in the garage down in 21st position. He will go from sitting still for so long. Chad Bell has got the pressure though. He's got Vanna and Omar now on the backside. The AM driver is getting the true test of time here as his first race in the pros, by having 2 of the managers and owners behind him, the TGN staff members who will be putting pressure, members who have built these rigs by hand and obviously driven on these rigs multiple times, being a part of the TGN family for so long, and they will have the experience upper hand here in terms of the rig builds, and also just the platform here on Assetto Corsa that we get to race on. And so Chad Bell is going to feel the pressure here, because the build-up is happening behind him. The rest of the drivers, though, all kind of spacing out up in front. Kitso Majia is losing time now to Michael de Kock, so let's see if Michael de Kock is going to be able to spring something up here in the final couple of minutes. It's only 1 second now for Kitso Majia. He is really starting to slow down compared to where Michael de Kock sits. It was 1.8 seconds. It's down to 1.1. So clearly something that Kitso Majia did wrong and made a mistake somewhere. Let's hope that he can keep his momentum, or else he's going to be into the grips of Michael de Kock, and into a fight he will go. Derek Truscott's unfortunately fallen off of that battle for first place. 2.9 seconds off JP Gosling as well. 4 seconds off currently as it stands from Derek Truscott. So quite a bit of a ladder that he's got to climb. Daniel Kent down 6th. 7th is Aratilia Motsogosele. Unfortunately, drops down a little bit with having to pit, obviously with his mandatory pit stops coming in. And Chad Bell doing an incredible job to keep the 2 behind of Vanny Obert and Omar Khan. But here comes a potential dive, and Vanny Obert looking on the inside line there to see if there's maybe a gap around the Ford Focus, but just not enough time nor enough track for him to try and run Chad into a tight zone. And as you can see now, Omar Khan also starting to drop off a little bit from this fight as he tries to hold on to the backside of Vanna, but Vanna is putting so much pressure on the backside of Chad Bell, but a little bit further as well. Tamsanko Konki, he still sits down in 12th position, with Nico Quintal just a bit further behind in 13th. Also, battle for 14th is Tevin Paul and Ryan Grigoratos. They currently sit coming around the final corner into the checkered flag line. They will go, and lots of pressure coming from behind. Ryan Grigoratos on that cockpit cam will try and get it. You can just see how close he's starting to get you to Tevin Paul. You need to watch out on the exit of turn number 1 to not run it out the track. He's going way later on the brakes and potentially switching it back here. or just making a slight bit of error, which has kind of chucked him into an awkward spot here, coming down into the long run, up to the up to the 90-degree left-hander here at Zwartkops Raceway, and just waiting for it from Ryan Grigoratos. I don't think he's going to have enough, and he's going to have to wait for it. Apologies, incorrect sector. I was looking at the first place color, the purple color, as they just head past the checkered flag. This is heading now onto the back straight and into one of the final rotating corners here. Around the outside, he's going to try to go. There might be contact on the inside, as we'll watch it from the outside. The two of them really scrapping it out as it stands, and hoping to potentially get ahead in the last 30 seconds. We are coming to the end of it, and I believe this might be our last lap with 28 seconds left to go. Kitsumajia is about halfway through it with 20 seconds left on the clock. Coming down towards the main straight, there might still be time for one more lap, but I don't think so. 15 seconds left to go in this 20-minute race. And looking at that timings board, it's 9 seconds left. Kitsumajia is coming into the second last corner, and this is definitely going to be it. It's going to be white flag for our drivers. It's final lap that they were already on. They got the white flag at the start of this lap. Now they're going to get the checkered flag. Kitsumajia worked hard with the pit strategy. He worked hard to keep ahead of Michael de Kock, and a success is in his coffee tonight because he makes it across the line in first place. Great win there from Kitsumajia. Michael de Kock and Derek Truscott will take second and third. JP Gosdard comes across fourth with Carl Williams down fifth. It is sixth position for Daniel Kent, seventh for Aratile Motsogotsele, and eighth for Gio Sakia. Ninth for Vanni Obert. He does get ahead of, I believe, Chad Bell, who makes a bit of an error, and he's off the track down all the way at Tamsa Konki into 11th position, and Nico Quintal down 12th. 13th for Tevin Paul, 14th for Grigoratos, 15th will be Morgan Goodwin, as he currently holds it out on track and trying to work his way through. Currently it says he's in 17th position, but not too sure which of the boards to look for. But just behind him is obviously Riaz Barber. Chad Bell a little bit further down, 18th position according to the board. And across the line he will come. Denisha Bart already crossed. And Jared Leask, our final driver, who's currently parked on the left-hand side. And that is officially your race number one, heat number one, finished for the night. We do still have two more heats coming up for all of you, so don't go anywhere far. Stay tuned for the next race. It is going to be important because it's a reverse grid race. We'll be with you in approximately 6 minutes time, and for yet another great 20 minutes of racing action. just 20 seconds away from heat number 2 start. And if heat number 1's anything to show for, we've got our hands full for heat number 1. It is Tevin Paul who will be starting it up in front with Jared Leask, as those were the two drivers who were unfortunately at the back end of the grid at the end. The 6 gantry lights are officially on, and they are officially off and ready to go for race number 2, the complete reverse grid. And our drivers take by storm into the next couple of corners, hoping for a bit of a cleaner start, a couple of jumps over the curbings. And my goodness, that got close to a little bit of contact there between all of our drivers, but it looks like everyone managing to get through the Zwartkops, and there's huge contact in the background. That is going to be massive bumper damage coming from some of our drivers there. I believe that might have been Session Governor, who had a bit of an incident coming in through that first corner. We'll have to see if there's any visible damage on that car, but a bit of an intertwining coming into the first hairpin at Zwartkops Raceway. And a couple of our drivers just really putting the pressure on each other, trying to make their way into the top spots and hoping for something. Oh, another driver's off, unfortunately. That's for number 19th spot. That's Kitso Magia, who's all the way down currently in 18th position. It is Ryan Grigoratos, who just went off track. And down to 19th, he will go for the time being. Lots and lots of contact coming in, though, for our second race. And that is unfortunate because it means that a couple of drivers are really going to find the consequence here of having that slightly more damaged car. I did speak to Morgan Goodwin at the end of last race. He did have contact at the beginning of race number 1. He had contact with Jordan Huben. He was sent off the track, and he said he had zero grip on the front of his car pretty much the entire race due to the front bumper having damage. So there is definitely some damage applied. It's not looking too visual here, as the BTCC cars are really handling themselves with their damage model, it seems, but the drivers are definitely experiencing it with the 80% damage being slapped on. And so they're all having to try and work with it. Jared Leask, though, and Jordan Huben, a driver who has definitely gotten redemption compared to his start for the first race, and he currently holds second in the Pro Series here for heat number 2, which is a great stride for him, but he does have to watch out because our foster drivers will be coming up. Tamsanko Konki, he's into 4th position already. He's holding off Chad Bell and obviously trying to get on the rear side. You have Omar Khan looking on the inside there as Omar goes slightly wide through the exit of the Dogbone section there of Zwartkops Raceway. A couple more of our drivers still just following in the same path. That inside curb, though, is a little bit deadly, as we saw at turn number 1, as some of the drivers just mounted it completely, trying to stay ahead, and some of them really lifting that car up onto 2 wheels. I believe that's where we already saw the chain of contact starting on our cars here, and obviously heading into the hairpin section, we saw that contact being made with a couple of our drivers. Session Governor, he walks around with a little bit of damage, I believe, and I believe you can actually see it as well with his car just really struggling to keep control. And Ryan Grigoratos down at 19th position. He's also really struggling currently in that car. Last was a 105.7, and he's lost all of his positions basically. But Jared Leask all the way up in front. I know it says he started in 3rd. He definitely did not. He started up in P1, and he made his way throughout. He made his way to keep up. Keep the rest of the cars behind him, and he's done a great job at it as well. Omar Khan works his way up into 3rd position. He's trying to work further into the podium spots, but it's going to be a hard battle. Chad Bell in 5th with Morgan Goodwin just a bit further behind. So Morgan also having a bit of a better start here. No contact on the initial get-off, which is what he experienced in race number 1. Seems like this time around, definitely a little bit easier, and he's been able to manage it with the likes of Tevin Paul and Gio Sakia. They're fighting behind, and Gio Sakia potentially looking for a move. He's on the inside of Tevin Paul, and he's made it stick. What a great move into the hairpin section he goes. And Gio Sakia moving one step closer to finding his way into the top 5. Into 7th he will go, but the fight is not over, because Tevin Paul is bringing it back, and there's a little bit of contact between the two of them. Tevin Paul joins the track a little bit unsafely there, as he did go completely off onto the grass, but Gio Sakia manages himself quite well and keeps up into 7th position. Great work from those drivers to keep the action alive. Up on the inside here, this is going to be Derek Truscott moving on Michael de Kock. The two of them, very experienced drivers of the Pro Series, and now side by side they will go into the next couple of corners. What will Derek Truscott do to keep Michael de Kock behind? They're going to switch back yet again. And just behind is obviously Carl Williams in the yellow Cupra, now joining in on the battles. And we'll have to wait and see if this is going to be a fight or not. But it does look like Derek Truscott has managed to stay ahead. But Carl Williams is now putting the pressure on the backside. And oh, that's a huge curb jump coming from Michael de Kock and completely unsettling that car. That allows for Carl Williams to get up ahead. So lots of action going up in the middle part as we have a couple of fast drivers trying to work their way back up to the top. Kitsumagia down 15 through one race number one. Unfortunately, all the way down at the last block due to that flip. Michael de Kock now trying to work through it. He's unfortunately lost out to Daniel Kent as well. So really starting to lose positions here based on that initial curb hop and just losing momentum to try and fight off with the likes of Derek Truscott and Kyle Williams. And Tevin Paul, who also moves up. So great work from most of our drivers up in front, though. Jared Leask is not having the easiest of times and not a big pillow behind his head as it currently sits, because Jordan Huben is putting the pressure on from behind, and he's going to do everything he can to get in the way of Jared Leask and potentially overthrow him for the remainder of this race. 14 minutes left to go. Chad Bell in fourth position. He's got Omar Khan just up ahead, and into the hairpin section they go. The two of them are a little bit quite distant, so not too much of an attacking stance coming. Morgan Goodwin, though, he's into a three-way chain. There's contact on the backside, and Morgan Goodwin does get a bit of a spin there. I believe that's from Aratile, Motsogosele, and almost going three wide then out of the hairpin section. Not going to be happy with that one is Morgan Goodwin, as Aratile just cutting off the nose there. He's now got Derek Truscott just a bit further behind, heading into the next couple of sequence of corners. Here at Zwartkops, it's all just flow at this track. It feels like it never stops as the drivers continuously trying to find any place where they can breach the driver up ahead, and it's almost going three wide here, but the drivers all decide to stay out and stay clean. And that looks like Kevin Paul almost looking for a position on a non-existent part of the track, trying to mount the curb and get over from his opponents, but not able to, as he runs out of track. He's got to watch out, though, not to run himself off the track and potentially get some track cuts. There we have the first of the pitters. It is indeed Gio Sakia who jumps into the pit lane. So does JP Goslet. And so a lot of our drivers now is now is the time to get out of this chaotic mid-pack, which is not split up at all, and potentially try and gain some traction. Jordan Huben has lost out to Omar Khan. Jordan Huben, one of the drivers who actually commentated with me in a couple of the previous rounds in the TGN Pro Series for season number 1, but this time, as you can see, he's unavailable because he is indeed doing the TGN Pro Series himself. He moved up from the AM Series, and Jordan Huben also a real-life driver, so he's getting his first-hand experience at putting the car on track in the Pro Series, not on the comms box for tonight, but into the podium spots and fighting it out for Western Province to hopefully conquer. He's got Omar Khan up ahead, though, who's also from the Western Province. So if he's trying to do a bit of a local fight, he's got one more opponent. But if he's doing a global fight and trying to get up into P number 1, Jared Leask is the man to challenge. And Jared Leask currently holding that podium spot, the top spot, to himself with 12 minutes left to go and completely uncontested as it stands. Let's hope we can see something from these drivers coming shortly. Morgan Goodwin still down 6 with 7th position, being the likes of Aratilia Motsogosele, but lots and lots of our drivers coming to the pit lane now. Daniel Kenson, Aratilia Motsogosele is in, Chad Bell is in, Kyle Williams is in, Ryan Grigoratos decides to come in, Tevin Paul also into the pit lane there. So lots of our drivers deciding now is the time to get those pit stops done and dusted, and then hopefully have a very clean race for the remainder of it in today's racing. 11 minutes left to go. Jordan Leask up in front, though, with Omar Khan behind, and the rest of our drivers still just trying to work their way through this very chaotic pack. 8th position and 9th with Aratile, Matsogotele, and Kito Magia, two very good friends here at the TGN branch in Joburg, and now putting pressure on each other, as Kito Magia did win heat number 1 and now doing everything he can to bring it back for heat number 2, starting all the way from the backside, and up into 9th he will go. But Aratile, I believe, has already pitted. I don't think Kito Magia has come to the pit yet, unless he has, which means this will be a great benefit for him to try and work his way back up into the top 5. However, if he does need to pit, this is going to drop him down drastically. John Huben and Morgan Goodwin down 5th and 6th position. Derek Truscott still a little bit further behind in 4th. Tamsanko Konki, he currently sits in 3rd position. And Gio Sakia 7th position, as they all work out on track with 11 minutes left to go. There's a long train, though, that Aratile currently owns. He's gotten ahead of Kitso Magia in those last couple of corners, and now he leads this battle for 8th position with a massive train of cars, and one actually just joining from out of the pit lane. So it's going to be Aratile to Kitso to Michael the Cock, Morgan Goodwin, Daniel Kent, JP Goslet, and Kyle Williams, and Riaz Barber. And then just a bit further in the distance, Chad Bell and Tevin Paul will try and catch up to that chaotic mid-pack challenge and see if they can switch things around. The battle for fifth, though, as well, Jordan Ruben and Gio Sakir, those two are fighting it out. Omar Khan currently holds the top spot, and Jared Leask only coming into the pit lane now. However, I don't think Omar Khan has come in just yet. Tamsanka Konki also not into the pit lane just as of yet. And so his pit stop will be a little bit later on that he's got to try and work for in second position. So let's see how that's going to work out for him. Gio Sakir in fifth position, trying to trail it out for the rest of the circuit. And he's obviously got Jordan Huben behind, like I already mentioned, with Artilia Montagosele just a bit further out in the distance that they'll try and work off as well. 18th is off, though. It's Session Governor, and into the sand he will go, unfortunately, missing his braking point for that corner, and the sand trap does indeed grab him, and nothing he can do really about that one. So just got to be patient and find a way to work through it. 9 minutes left, though, of heat number 2. Not a lot of time left to play with here for our drivers. Nico Quintal down 10th position currently as a whole. Sorry, not 10th, 19th position. Also using those track limits a little bit too hard. He might face a bit of a penalty here if he's not careful. So watch out there, Nico Quintal. You don't want to face any penalties from the real-time penalty system. That's another thing. Session Governor parked his car earlier because he got disqualified. So what happened is Session Governor obviously had contact at the beginning of the race, which was with a couple of our drivers. He ended up getting a stop-go 30-second penalty for that incident that he caused at the beginning of the race. What then happened is he tried to go into the pit lane to serve his stop-go, but because he had a pit stop loaded in his pit stop strategy, it classified the stop-go as a pit stop, meaning he did not serve the stop-go and instead just served a normal pit stop. Then after the 3-lap limit came around, unfortunately, it resulted in a DQ for him, which is a disqualification of heat number 1, which means he will not get any points rendered for that race. Unfortunate one there for Session Governor. He's not going to be too happy about that one right off the bat, and you're already the most disadvantaged driver down at the bottom with 0 points. 0 points to your name. Derek Truscott, though, he holds 5th right now with about 8 minutes left to go. And Omar Khan is officially into the... And Gio Sakir currently holds 2nd. I believe he's yet to pit because Jared Leask, who was sitting in 1st position after being overtaken by Omar Khan, he currently sits in 3rd. Now, where does he come out relative to Omar Khan? Omar Khan is out of the pit lane. Here comes the rest of the drivers around the first corner. They're going to be carrying a lot more speed than Omar Khan. So where will Jared Leask end up in relation to Omar Khan? But Omar's already out on circuit fighting with Jared Leask, and the two of them are going to go head-to-head, and Omar Khan gets shoved off the track from the get-go. And the strategy to keep Jared Leask behind has failed due to that incident that's just happened at the hairpin. And Jared Leask is going to move up into 2nd now. And Omar Khan feeling the pressure from Jordan Huben. And very, very unfortunate one indeed. Jordan Huben now putting the pressure immediately on the inside back right of Omar Khan, trying to find a way to squeeze him out and potentially put a little bit of pressure here. 7 minutes to go. It's the two Cape Town drivers working their magic through it. And Jordan Huben going to take the inside line over the curbing. He's going to go. Is it going to be enough, though, to get ahead of Omar Khan? Or is he going to play a little bit too risky and potentially get attacked by Derek Truscott? He's got to watch out for that one. Tamsanka Konki also a little bit further just in the background there, and he might also catch up, so you've got to watch out for him. But this battle for 3rd is definitely not over. 1st and 2nd, though, Jared Leask fighting against Gio Sakir. I wonder if Gio has come into pit. I'm not 100% sure, but Gio Sakir did start a little bit further on this pack, and now he sits up in P1. I don't know if he pitted, though, because I didn't see anything coming from the pit box from Gio Sakir's side. So we'll have to wait and see if Gio Sakir did indeed pit, or if he's actually got himself a great lead in this race. You can see behind the leader, lots and lots of gaps coming in between our drivers. Not too sure why it shows the 30-second gap from Gio Sakir to the leader. He is currently the leader, so definitely no gap needed there. Jared Leask is also not 16 seconds behind the leader, so a little bit of an odd metric going on there for the live timings board, and that will disappear soon because it is indeed false. But one thing is for certain is that heat number 2 has brought our drivers much closer together, because from 1st all the way down to 14th position is one massive long, not 14th, sorry, 13th position is one long train trying to fight for the top spots. And you can see it because Morgan Goodwin, JP Goslet, Kyle Williams, Daniel Kent, Michael the Cock, Kitso Magia, Tamsa Konki, they're all in this train for the next 5 minutes. It's going to be a very hard train to fight, as we've got a lot of hyper-competitive drivers working their way out around the track. And so all the drivers are going to have to put their best foot forward here in hopes that they can get something out. We'll have to wait and see if this is going to be the strategy or the play for all of our drivers. Omar Khan is not going to be happy, though, as he did get knocked off the circuit slightly. He did get the overcut on Jared Leask, but unfortunately, because of the tap that happened, it then changed up slightly and resulted in different consequences for himself, pushing him down to third position. Derek Truscott has backed up, though, and not too much of pressure coming from there. Oh, someone's gone off, and I believe it might be Kitso Magia, who does just face the grass trap there. He loses out to Oratilia Motsogosele just yet again. Daniel Kent also feeling the pressure now from Kyle Williams. And so lots of drivers really going around. I did hear a scream down on the pitch, and someone's gone off. That's huge contact against the wall, and I'm not too sure who it is. It looks like it's Gio Sakia, who's dropped all the way down, and that's massive damage, and lots of cars out on track. There's mid-contact on the track. Unfortunately, there's not really much better camera angles. There we can see Gio Sakia. He's just parked out on the circuit, and I'm not too sure what kind of damage he's going to have. I did see some black debris markings against the wall there, but Gio Sakia just sat now, waiting for it to be safe, and I'm not too sure he's going to even come back. Nico Quintal's going to pass Gio Sakia, and Gio Sakia, I'm not even sure if he's going to have the one to return. He's just facing backwards, and he's actually out of the rig, so not too sure what's happened to Gio Sakia. The car seems to be dead, is what he's indicating to me from the floor, so I'm not too sure what's just happened to Gio Sakia. He was not happy with that one. And I heard someone scream. It sounded like Jared Leask, which is why I immediately went to go and check up on the top spots. But it was actually Gio Sakia, who I believe was trailing for first. It did not look like he needed to pit, but something has clearly gone wrong there, which has caused him to now be stuck on the right-hand side of the track. This is technically yellow flag, because somebody could completely go straight into the side of his car and cause a massive further contact. But I'm really wanting to know what on earth happened there to Gio Sakia to end his race in such a sudden manner. Omar Khan also down second. He's still busy trailing as it currently stands. The rest of our drivers also working their way through the circuit. It's a bit of a no man's land currently for Tevin Paul. Not too much of a distance in front, not too much back either. Same thing goes for 14th of Kyle Williams. He also not much going on for him in his current stance. 15th for Ryan Gregoratos, also just finding his way out on track. But Jared Leask is starting to pull a bit of distance here on Omar Khan, and hoping that in the next 3 minutes he can just keep the distance behind. Derek Truscott down third position with Tamsango Konki, who might get his best result yet here as his first time run in the Pro Series for season number 2, and currently holding down fourth position. This is going to be good, a good amount of points onto the board for him at such an early state of the season and with such a brand new driver. And so we'll have to wait and see. We do have Gio Sakia up here. I'm just going to quickly ask him what on earth happened, and then we can just get some context for the stream. All right, so back at it now. Unfortunately, Gio Sakia seems to have had what we would call in real life a terminal issue, but in the sim racing world, a bit of a technical issue. So, unfortunately, his rig did indeed crash, which is what we saw happen there on the main straight. No contact from Gio Sakia, but the most unfortunate part is that his pit stop strategy was already complete. So, Gio Sakia was on his way to getting a win here for heat number 2, and well ahead of Jared Leask as well, maintaining the gap up in P1 and just not able to render the result at the end there due to a technical issue. And unfortunately, with sim racing, something like that can just happen, whether you're doing it online on your own rig or whether you're at a TGN simulating center. There is always the possibility of something going wrong, and it is uncontrollable from a human side. It is just one of those things that can sometimes happen. So that is just unfortunate hard luck there for Gio up in front. Jared Leask, though, is doing his utmost best to keep behind, but Omar Khan has lost out to Derek Truscott, unfortunately. And so So he, who did have a huge gap up at the top after losing out just a little bit through the second corner on his pit exit, has now lost out even further because Derek Truscott has put himself in the middle of the sandwich here. And Omar Khan, who is chasing for a win here on the final lap, as we're going to get the white flag now, heading across the checkered flag line. Jared Lees has got one sole job, and it's to keep the car clean and tidy for the rest of it. Oratile Motsagosele will hold up in fifth, though. He's got Michael de Kock and Jordan Hooven a little bit further behind in 6th and 7th position. Kitsumajia, who also won in the heat number 1, he's currently down in 8th position, trying to work it out. 4th position has spun, and someone's gone off. It's Jared Leesk, the driver, who was all the way up in front, completely leading this race, and he's lost the car. Into the wall he will go. The question of whether or not it was contact is something we will not know, but Jared Leesk is completely off as well. I'm not too sure if that's a rig crash as well, or if that was unfortunately just due to some kind of incident, but he's lost out on the win of this race. Derek Truscott will move up into P number 1. And Omar Khan moves up into P number 2, which means that Tamsanka Konki, our brand new Pro Series driver, is going to get his first podium on his first round at the TGN Pro Series. What an incredible feat this is going to be for him, but Derek Truscott is going to claim it for race number 2, P1, with Omar Khan setting P2. Tamsanka Konki is going to get P3. Michael de Kock will claim P4. Oratile Matsogotsele gets P5, 6th for Kitsumajia. It's going to be 7th for Daniel Kent, 8th for Huben, 9th for JP Gosler, 10th for Chad Bell, 11th for Tevin Paul, 12th for Jared Lees, 13th for Kyle Williams, 14th for Session Governor, 15th for Quintal, and the rest of our drivers already in the pit lane, Grigor Altos, Morgan Goodwin, and a couple of others. But what a change of events at the end. Both of the top 2 runners, Gio Sakia and the likes of Jared Lees, out of this race right at the end of it, and that is such an unfortunate thing to see. We've got one more heat coming for you for the night, which is going to be heat number 3, our Chaos Grid, which is completely randomized by the server. However, we do need to change servers in order to set up the randomizer, so we will be back in approximately 17 minutes time for that race. This gives you ample time to go make a cup of coffee or something slightly better to eat while you get entertained and tuned in for the final round, the final heat of round number 1.
Hey Siri, can you play some relaxing music?
Okay. You're listening to Plastic Funkers.
Santeria, you're related to my life. Santeria, you're just beauty personified. Tell me how you get to where you're going. Show me what's behind those emerald eyes. You can love me, just don't end up running. Santeria, you're related to my life. Santeria, you're just beauty personified. Yes, I tried. You came in to save my life. Manifest all night. Santeria's on my mind. Baby, yes, I might end up getting high. Only you desire. Santeria's on my mind. Tell me how you get to where you're going. Show me what's behind those emerald eyes. You can love me, just don't end up running. Yes, I tried. You came in to save my life. Manifest all night. Santeria's on my mind. Baby, yes, I might end up getting high. Only you desire. Santeria's on my mind. Tell me how you get to where you're going.
The time is finally here for us to swing through to the final heat of round number 1, season 2 of the TGN Pro Series for 2026. We've got high expectations set out from season number 1, and even higher expectations set out from our first 2 heats, heat number 1 and heat number 2, being some very good contention for challenges and change of events as we came up to the end of the event of the race. And heading into the final race now, this is going to be a pinnacle moment for some points on the board. Riaz Baba, our one driver from KZN, will be starting it up on the top blocks for today's racing in P number 1. This is going to be a good moment for him to try and pull away here. It is officially green light racing as we do go ahead, and Riaz Baba already feeling the pressure from Daniel Kent on the outside line. The rest of our drivers getting in quite smoothly. We'll try and keep a view though, as we do have one of our drivers starting from the pit lane. That's Tamsankwa Konki, unfortunately getting, and it's a massive amount of pile up into the second corner we go, and we've got 2 cars facing backwards just yet again. A couple of drivers just completely missing their braking zones here, and not looking good so far for a couple of our drivers who have completely dropped off there. Derek Truscott, Daniel Kent, who was second in this race, has gone all the way down to 16th position. Riaz Baba, who was in first, all the way down to 6th position. So a couple of our drivers just really not getting the start they needed. But for our main driver up in front, Ryan Grigoratos, he's got a lot of pressure because our race number 1 winner, Kitso Magia, is into 2nd position, wanting to chase down on a 2nd win for tonight in heat number 3. This could be some incredible points for Kitso to supercharge his way through. There's no more Christopher Long here to try and dominate through the points brackets. I don't think he's here for season number 2. He's not going to be racing in it, which means that Kitso Magia is not going to have too much contention at this current time being. Gio Sakia is back on the circuit after his PC had an unfortunate crash, but hopefully it's been resolved coming into this round. Coming into heat number 3, and Kitso Magia has received contact on the backside. I believe he's completely off. Into the gravel he goes and gets knocked off circuit from first. He's going to go all the way down to last position. You'll get your track map on the top right-hand side. And Kitso Magia goes from first all the way to last position. That is so unfortunate for Kitso Magia, this point in the race, to be so far down. Another driver goes off. That's 8th position. I believe that's Ryan Grigoratos, who's now gone back to pit lane. I'm not too sure why. 17th will rejoin. That's Oratile. Motswa Gosele. Session Govinder's gone off as well. And a couple of other drivers. Rika Quintal also loses some kind of traction out on track, and he's all the way down to 19th position. So a very, very eventful start here. Ryan Grigoratos teleports back to the pit lane. Unfortunately, seems to be experiencing some kind of issue. Not sure what's going on there. He's actually out of the rig as it stands. I do see him out on the floor, so I wonder what happened there to Ryan Grigoratos. But Gio Sakia, the driver who looks for redemption after missing out on the Heat 2 victory due to